Hello guys, good day everyone. This is Mike, Mr. Typhoon Padua, returning to our latest tropical weather analysis, April 28th until the 30th, Tuesday to Thursday. This is our English version, brought to you by Typhoon 2000 and Naga College Foundation. I would like also to thank our partners, Aboitiz Power, and the local government of Naga City, headed by our Honorable Mayor Lenny Robredo and our Honorable Vice Mayor Gabi Bordado. So let's begin now with our latest update. This is our GovSat we issued last night. So we have the easterlies now occurring across our country, especially the eastern sections of Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. As you can see here, there are already some patches of afternoon or evening rain showers and thunderstorms, like here in Naga. Every other day we have some drizzles to sudden downpour, and also in various sections of Visayas and Mindanao, and as well as over areas of the northern Luzon, there are some afternoon or evening rain showers as well. As for the western Pacific, we have here a long tropical wave moving westward towards the Philippine Sea, and if you are within this line, you can experience some rain showers and thunderstorms as well. And the intertropical convergence zone, wherein a low pressure area has formed. This is LPA 91W with low chance of developing into a tropical cyclone. So based on the computer models, most of them are looking at this system. It could slowly organize within the first few days of May. But for this system becoming a strong cyclone, there might be another one to the east of this system. So we are going to observe that. But the uncertainty remains high, low probability. So there's nothing to worry about this circulating news over the social media that there will be another typhoon or whatsoever over the Western Pacific. It's still uncertain, okay? And here's the fast animation from the University of Wisconsin Tropical Cyclone page, Himawaii 9 satellite. So there you go. Good weather across our country, except during the afternoon or evening. We expect this afternoon or evening rain showers and thunderstorms. Here's the tropical wave that we are talking about. It's moving closer towards Palawan and Western Micronesia. And over the eastern part of Micronesia or Marshall Islands, we have here LPA 91W is somewhere here within this cloudiness. It's very hard to pinpoint since this system is still on its early stages of organizing. And here's the windy.com zoom in satellite loop for the Philippines, and you can already observe some thunderstorms moving across Palawan, which is quite a relief for them, since for the past weeks and a few months they are seldom experiencing rains, okay? And also over Mindanao and parts of Visayas, and over the eastern sections of Luzon as well. Big region, there might be some showers in the afternoon as well, but it's only around 50% probability as of today. And here's the wind forecast from the GFS model. We're going to show to you the GFS model first. So for the next 5 days, it remains easterlies across the country. And we have here the American model developing this low pressure system. Still more than 5 days if we move the slider between May 4, 5, 6 until May 8 to 9. We could see a strong typhoon moving to the east of the Guam area or northern Marianas. So it's not a threat to our country. Even also here over the northern Marianas, it's far to the east. But this is the American model. We still don't know if this will push through. It's very uncertain. Okay. Now for the European model, which is a good model when it comes to long-range forecast, as well as the Google DeepMind, which we are going to show to you in a while. So there you go. On May 1st, we have this LPA. Likely this is 91W, another one, 92 if it does develop. So that LPA is moving westward into the southern parts of Marianas, south of Guam. And on Monday, which is day 6 of the forecast, which is still, again, highly uncertain, so we don't know, that system is weakening. As you can see, it's just been downgraded into a shallow or weak LPA. And yet another one will form here. Same with the American model, somewhere here over Eastern Micronesia, east of Chuuk State. And it's more than 5 days. So May 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is still highly uncertain. So it shows here the track of the other one, this one, moving towards the north of the Eastern Micronesia or east of Guam. So most of the models, the European model, the forecast of more than 5 days is moving that direction, while the American model is somewhere here. So it's now shifting more to the east compared to the past few days near Guam, but it has shifted again more to the east. And this is another one that we are going to observe. This is the likely 91W, another one, and it has weakened and remained quasi-stationary on the long-range forecast of the ECMWF. This is day 12, day 13, and day 14, May 9, 10, 11, and 12. So it's still highly uncertain as well, so we don't know. If you look at the forecast until May 12, it will remain a weak system and further dissipating over Palau. So usually this is a common feature when we have developing El Nino. Most cyclones are having a difficult time forming over the Philippine Sea. Most of them are having healthier time forming to the east of Guam. And that's the reason if we are going into a super El Nino, or a very strong El Nino, that's the former term of a extreme El Nino event, usually they form to the east of more to the east of the Philippines or farther to the east of Guam into the international dateline until to the south of Hawaii. So we will monitor that. And if we look at the model ensemble, you can see here the ECMWF model ensemble showing that LPA moving to the southeast of Guam and weakening here as it approaches Palau. And we have here another, this might be the surface trough or the tropical wave, which is now moving towards the Philippine Sea east of Mindanao. The Google DeepMind, if we check out their latest run, so you can see it here between May 3 and 4, that is more than 5 days from now, there is a potential formation here south of Guam. But if we move into May 11 to 12, it's dispersing. It's become more uncertain, and we don't know. The large area of uncertainty is over this area. Okay, so it's a big question mark as of this time. And if we look at the focused system on May 3, that's the system. They say, or the Google DeepMind are saying that it could become a tropical storm, category 1 typhoon, as it moves in between Palau and Guam outside of the Philippine area of responsibility. So there's nothing to worry about. It will record once again. And it's only up to that point. We still don't know, but the ensemble of the Google DeepMind, those points are still limited, so we will let you know in the coming days. But so far so good. There's nothing to worry as of this time. So here's the rainfall pattern for the next 5 days. So this afternoon we could expect some heavy thunderstorms here over northern and parts of central Luzon, parts of Calabarzon, Bicol region, also here over western Visayas and Negros Island region, Zamboanga Peninsula, and parts of western Mindanao. That's for this afternoon, April 28. And tomorrow, April 29, we have limited thunderstorms occurring over western Luzon, Ilocos region up to Cagayan Valley, and the rest is very low probability of a thunderstorm or rainfall. And on Thursday, we have another round of possible thunderstorms in parts of Visayas, Caraga region, Ilocos region, parts or limited areas of the Bicol region, and northern Samar. That will be on Thursday. On May 1st, more thunderstorms is in store over Mindanao, Soxygen, okay, Lanao provinces, parts of Zamboanga Peninsula, Davao will have possible thunderstorms Friday afternoon. That's May 1st in Labor Day. And here over Central Central Luzon and Ilocos region, there might be possible thunderstorms. Over Bicol, not much. There might be some very small isolated showers. May 2, again, severe thunderstorms are expected over Mindanao, right here, and over Visayas as well. Bicol region, likely over the southern portions, Albay, Sorsogon, Masbate. Okay, so the event that is coming to Naga this May 1st to May 3, the Camarines Camsor, I call this Camsor International Hot Air Balloon Festival is likely to be okay, all right, but expect a 50% chance of isolated showers in the afternoon, but the threat of thunderstorms has diminished compared during the past few days, so that's good news. Now on Sunday, again, round of thunderstorms across Mindanao, and that ends our update for the rainfall forecast from the ECMWF. Since it's already 5 days, the uncertainty will be higher if we move into May 4 onwards. But we expect now the return of these localized thunderstorms as we move into the month of May. This is the so-called Agua de Mayo when it comes to climate forecast during month of May. Now for the wave heights, there's nothing to worry about. Everything is normal. Okay, until May 3, the wave heights over the East Philippine Sea will remain up to 1 to 1.5 meters, light to moderate. The inland waters of our country, Visayan Sea, and the rest of the other seas here will be calm to half a meter in wave heights, as well as over the West Philippine Sea, west of Luzon, west of Palawan, will remain calm to about a meter or half a meter in wave heights for the next 5 days. So suitable for fishing and sea travel. Now here's the latest on the Madden-Julian oscillation. If we are on a wet phase or moving into a dry phase, right now we're still on a dry phase condition. So below average rainfall will be expected as we move into the first week of May until May 11. So the Philippines is located here. The Philippines is located here in this area. So the path of the wet MJO remains over or very near the center of the circle, which means it's very weak. So it will not bring much rainfall. And if we look at the MJO forecast, let me check the other forecast here. Okay, here. So you can see here until May 11. Until May 11, there you go. So it's the Philippines below average, normal, and below average. So there's no this blue thing. This is the one that absorbs the radiation, absorbing over the ocean. Once it absorbs more radiation from the sun, it will generate more thunderstorms. So right now it repels more radiation outward into outer space. That's why we are experiencing some dry conditions. Even the ECMWF, it remains over the circle for the next 2 weeks. And the Bureau of Meteorology forecast remains the same. It's within the circle. And the latest on the Global Tropics Hazards Outlook from the Climate Prediction Center of NOAA, valid for the next 2 to 3 weeks. The week 2, April 29 to May 5th, we have a possible formation of more than 40% probability east of Guam or over the Marshall Islands. So this is the one that is likely to develop during the first week of May. And the Philippines will remain more than 50% of below average rainfall. And for week 3, same situation for our country, more than 50% below average rainfall. And 20% or more than 20% of a tropical cyclone formation again to the east of Guam, same area where Sinlaco developed. So it's a sign that we are still on a track, on a path towards a strong or super El Niño. Let's hope that the eastern sections of our country will not be affected much, because during very strong El Niño or super El Niño, we get hit also with the effects of drought conditions. So here's the latest from the ENSO, the probabilistic ENSO forecast from Erie, mid-April. It looks like it's really going to go up. Look at this. That's the latest one, and we have another one by mid-May or first 2 weeks of May. So right now for the month of May, we will be moving up to 70% El Niño. And June, July is the time that it will be fully developed with 87 to 92% probability. And it will remain within 90 or more than 90% until November. And still at stable 87% until January of 2026. December 2020, January 2027. And December 2027, we expect this kind of weather conditions. Okay, so it's really the effects that will be expected if this super El Nino will push through. Here's the historical intensities of El Nino and La Nina. You can see here there are only 3 super El Niños or very strong El Nino in the past. The first one happened in 1982-83, then 1997-98. So as you notice, these were the times that only limited tropical cyclones visits our country. Then 2015 and 2016, we have one tropical cyclone, Nona, Typhoon Nona, 185 kph, passing over Sorsogon. While during the past 3 decades, there's no powerful typhoon that affected our country during Super El Nino. The problem is the effect of mega droughts. So it depends on the conditions that we will be experiencing for the next 12 months. So here's the data showing you the very strong super El Nino in the past, 1982-83, then 1997-98. Then we have here the 2015 and 16 right here. And just recently we have the very strong El Nino in 2023 and 2024. And after that we have 2 normal conditions and 1 weak La Nina. Okay, didn't reach the weak, but it's within the threshold. So we are expecting the possible return of El Nino. So what will be the effect when it comes to the rainfall? So beginning July to April, we expect the Philippines to have below average rainfall. So let's say the Philippines are experiencing on the average 200 millimeters average monthly rainfall. It will go down to 150 or 100 millimeters or 50 millimeters. So that will be the effects when we say below average rainfall during the time of El Nino. Okay, the hardest hit, or the hardest that will be hit with this kind of El Nino, will be Indonesia. Okay, and you can clearly see it here on the latest ERI multi-model forecast for precipitation issued this April. Beginning May, June, and July 2026, the Philippines will now be experiencing 40% of below normal rainfall. And if we move this graph into June, July, Mindanao will remain at 40 to 45% below average rainfall. But look at Luzon and parts of Visayas, Bicol, we will be increasing to 40 to 45% above average rainfall. Why? Just think about it. We are in the time of the habagat. So when there's a habagat season and the formation of the storms are farther out to the east and they move over towards Japan, it will enhance the southwest monsoon. And worst thing, if we have a quasi-stationary or a typhoon not moving here, it will be bringing heavy rainfall for about a week or so across Luzon, Western Visayas. So there will still be rainfall which is above average during the time of habagat or the southwest monsoon. Then when we reach July, August, and September, we will be back to normal conditions. Still, Mindanao will suffer the worst of this impending El Nino. 40% to 45% below average rainfall. And August, September, October, the rest of the country will return to 40% below average rainfall or below normal rainfall. It will be getting worse over Mindanao with up to 50% below average rainfall. So we better prepare with this approaching so-called super El Nino. Let's hope it will just be a normal El Nino. But there are pros and cons when we have weak or mild El Nino, because tropical cyclone tends to develop over Guam. So hopefully it will not affect our country. Okay, so so far that's the latest for today, April 28th. As we move into May, we will be returning with our first update this weekend. Again, this is Mike, Mr. Typhoon Padua. See you again in the coming days. Stay safe always. Be #WeatherWiser and Typhoon Wiser. And thank you so much for watching our channel. God bless to all.